Tonight on this super important show, are you planning a threesome? Have you considered inviting a robot to join? Most people have. We're joined. We figure out who would pay $10,000 for some rando to name their baby. We'll find out which former assassin you can go see in concert in New York City, plus much more. I'm your host, Des Diodato, and to help me figure all these things out, I want to introduce you to my two amazing co-hosts. First, she's the fancy lady with the funny lady with the fancy dresses, Heather Jules Booth. Hi, Heather Jules Booth.
I love that intro. Thank you. Hello. I like that.
And our special guest, the man who owns more full-body spandex bodysuits than anyone else I know, Marcus Haugen. How are you doing?
I'm good and sort of surprised. I know that you're pretty close with a lot of people at Spandex Con.
That's true. But you definitely 100% hold a record. I think you do anyway. Or maybe it's the same one over and over again, but I like to think that it is different ones.
Definitely guilty of some repeaters, but I do have a few.
Okay.
I've definitely seen different colors.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much, like, it's a full body spandex suit. It's amazing. Marcus, thank you for joining us. You're a funny man, and I'm glad that you can be with us tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm super excited. You two are two of my favorite people, and excited to do the show.
Oh, thank you so much. You're one of our favorite people. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's just do this thing. Let's get into World You Crazy. Heather.
Are you ready for me to be angry tonight?
Are you ready to be angry?
Oh, I am so ready to be angry. Hello, everybody. Here's another segment of World You Crazy. Hey, everybody. I can't decide what makes me more angry about this. The fact that someone is doing this, the fact that people are paying for this, or the fact that I did not think to do this. There is a 33-year-old NYU grad who is getting paid up to $10,000 by clients to name their babies. That is correct, to name their babies. This NYU grad, Taylor Humphrey, has explained to The New Yorker that she charges a rate depending on the client's needs. She says the services range from a consulting phone call to researching their names to doing genealogical research. She says she's always had an obsession with baby names and launched, I guess it's a website, What's in a Baby's Name, in 2015. Her price range goes from $1,500 to $10,000. She recently helped a couple name their child, get ready everybody, Parks, because they told her that their first kiss was in a town named Parker. She also helps people who are running out of names when they've just had too many kids to keep up with the names. They've got 3 or 4 kids and they're like, what do we do? I couldn't do it anymore. That's when she probably charges them more money. She has a TikTok account because, of course, this is where all these folks with all these crazy schemes seem to come from. She has 46,000 followers, which I actually feel like that's not a lot. I don't really know. It doesn't sound like a lot.
For a person charging 10 grand, they should have more than that.
Yeah, right? Doesn't that seem? Yeah.
You don't even go with. I'm sorry, but you don't even go with Parker. If the town was called Parker, Parker's a name. Parks is not a fucking name.
Parks is not a goddamn name, right? Thank you. And it's not cute. And your kid's not going to be like, "Hey, Parks!" Like, no. Right.
I'm going to social right away because Michelle was pointing out she would be very good at this. I agree. She would absolutely do this. Charge the same amount and name everybody AB Megatron. Yes, of course.
Should, because you know what? Anyone who's willing to pay this kind of money for this kind of service, you deserve that. You 1,000,000% deserve your baby to be named Megatron.
Right, and you probably don't even know that Megatron is a thing. You're probably like, I've never heard that before.
If you're having too many babies that you can't even you're so stressed about coming up with names. Yeah, there you go, Megatron. Yeah. I also want to point out that this Taylor, this person doing these things, I was going to make some nicknames and I didn't. She advises her clients that if they don't like the name that she provides to them for this service, they can opt to use it as a middle name. So it's like saying, hey, Macy's, I bought this coat. You know, I don't really like it as a coat, but maybe I'll tie it around my waist as a butt warmer.
Right, $10,000, please.
$10,000, please. I mean, the
Marcus,
gumption.
Marcus, I am counting on you specifically, though, if and when you have a child, and you will have a child at some point, I'm guessing, to name it something ridiculous. Like, you're not gonna, like, you don't strike me as the type of person who would name their kids, like Steve. Or am I wrong?
No, I probably would not name my kid Steve. I want to be something interesting.
Right. Like, as Michelle points out, Megatron Haugen.
Megatron is very cool. Maybe one of the top 2 or 3 Decepticons for sure.
Right. You know what? Because Starscream Haugen has a better flow to it, probably. But you know.
Yes, I agree. Also scarier than Megatron.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you could do something cool where you could sort of like make it about you, which sometimes names are anyway, but name your kid something like Spider-Man Jr. and imply that you are Spider-Man.
Yes, exactly. So Heather, sorry, I probably interrupted you. What else do we need to know?
Oh my goodness. So I just want to point out one more thing about this story that tickled me. Maybe that's the wrong word. But it said that places where she likes to go to get ideas for names include the Social Security database, which I was like, if this is a person who's already talking people into giving her $10,000 to name a baby, I don't think I want them going on a Social Security database, because it just feels like it's one keystroke away from like, oh, it's that $10,000 is $1 million. I know that's not how Social Security works, but I'm gonna sneakers it and assume it is.
But wouldn't that create a situation where all the kids are named like Beatrice and Ruth and like names that nobody has anymore?
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
I guess people have the name Ruth now, but Beatrice, nobody has the name. Like if you're going to Social Security, it's all old people, isn't it?
I can't think of any Beatrice or Ruth, and I deal with a lot of mature clientele. And I still can't think of any Beatrice or Ruth off the top of my head.
Is the Social Security database just old people who receive the benefits, or is it like everyone?
I don't know, actually. My assumption was it's a list of every single person who is registered with one.
Who's ever been alive?
Yeah, who has a social card. But I
go
don't
all
know.
the way back to George Washington, number 1 Social Security number.
Yeah, 001.
Heather, this one's for you because I don't get the Doctor Who reference, but Hopping is suggesting this name. Explain it to me.
Stormageddon.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Can you explain that?
No, I am not. I am a nerd. I am not a Who nerd.
You're a different nerd. Okay, fair enough.
I'm not a Doctor Who nerd. I respect it, but I do not like really follow it.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right.
I guarantee that's a good reference, though.
Okay.
Because I know Topping, and I know people Topping has worked with, and I know Topping's funny.
Right.
So,
she said she would actually go with the name Dagmar, which I don't know that name either, but that does sound like a fun name.
I think that wasn't in a cartoon.
I don't know. Well, we'll find out.
Sounds like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Any other names you want to throw out here?
No, I will just say my last comment is that the story is full of other people's responses to the story, like on Twitter and social, where they had similar reactions to what I did, which was like people being like, yeah, sure, I could cure cancer, and I'm still going to be outshone by this person doing 10K to charge for a baby name, and someone else who's like, I could do this, I'll only do it for 500, get in my DMs. And then another person that was just like, I can't believe this is a thing. And like I said, I was filled with a lot of varying degrees of rage because I was angry that people have so much disposable income that they're spending it like this. But I was also angry that I'm like, I feel like it's every week we do, not every week, but we hit on a lot of stories where people are just like scammy. And I'm just like, is that another life secret that I didn't realize about just life? Like a lot of people are scammy.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's not a scam though, because people are
paying for it and getting a service. I assume. True.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I was just like, man, I don't have $10,000 because I'm not thinking like this.
Right.
And maybe I need to start thinking scammy.
Maybe this lady legitimately thinks naming people is worth this much, and we can offer to name her. How much would she pay if we
Oh my god,
made
how
up a
much
name
would
for
she
her?
want? Yeah, for us to name her, because I don't really like the name Taylor. Like,
No, we can do better.
we could do better.
Megatron.
Megatron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she owes Michelle a bunch of money. Michelle pointed out that actually we were thinking Jack Wood from the Blondie comics, which I don't
Yes,
even know.
Michelle, that is what I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know how many people. I'm surprised that this many of you would know anything from the Blondie comics, because why were they a thing? And Toppings explaining a reference. The 11th Doctor claimed to speak baby and said Craig's baby said its name was Stormageddon. Okay, then that's a good reference.
name.
Then I'm
Yeah.
on board with your reference. Good job.
Good name.
We let you down as people who are not nerd enough. So we are sorry.
We're our own type of nerds.
Yes. Cool. Do we want to move on to Marcus's salacious story?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to?
Definitely looking forward to hearing about this.
Yeah. So the data is in. The
Yeah.
survey results have come through. And Sexual Alpha is an online adult retailer that has run a survey, and it turns out that people are more open to having a threesome with a sex robot than with another person. And in general, it just seems like sex robot acceptance is on the rise.
Is it? Like, I believe the story, but I'm just shocked. Is it on the rise with you guys? You don't have to tell me, but you do, because I asked.
I've never even thought about it. It's
Yeah,
never crossed my mind that it was a thing.
At no point you were ever like, hey, I want to have a threesome, I should buy a robot. Neither of you guys ever
No.
thought that.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I guess there are like parameters in which I would be like, if someone's like, oh, we'll pay you to have sex with this robot. Yeah, I guess so. But like, I'm not going out of my way to do it.
You're not going on like Googling, how can I have a threesome with a sex robot? Right.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like a real threesome. That, like...
I mean, well, so what's the, Marcus, do they talk about this in the story? Is that the reason that it's more popular? Because people feel like it's not, like, I mean, I don't know.
I don't think they necessarily got too much into the thinking so much as it's just sort of the data of like, you know, what would
Data.
you rather
Every
do?
time you say data, it's going to make me laugh.
Look, this is science.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
hard polling science
Yeah.
that these
Yeah.
people did.
Yep.
I wonder, you know, you get to a point where you go like, what is if we're talking about inanimate objects, assuming these robots aren't sentient, what do you define as being a participant in a threesome? You know, could a bed become a participant in just intercourse between two people? And that's a threesome between two people on a bed.
That's a really good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not like my assumption. I mean, I don't know where they're at with sex robots right now, but my assumption is that like it's not into it. Like it's not gonna participate. Like it'll lie there, but like to your point, like the bed will lie there. Like you know, you could bring a pots and pans in, and that doesn't make it a threesome.
Or maybe it does, according to this survey.
I guess.
I mean, robots, as far as we know, they do two things. They have sex with people and they try to kill Optimus Prime.
Right.
And I guess sometimes they transform.
Yes,
Sometimes.
that's true.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So I guess the assumption here is that I mean, I'm going to say I would not do that either, but the assumption is that neither of you guys would ever consider, like, even though it was something like 46% of the people who polled, like, what was it was a not disturbingly high, because like you do you, but like it was a weirdly high number for a thing that I was just like, I didn't think sex robots were there yet. Like, I didn't think that, like...
I saw the headline for this, and I didn't... oh, my God, I just clicked on the story and saw the picture. Holy moly.
It's
38%. I didn't know we were in this tech yet.
Right.
Yes. Sex dolls provide a non-complicated relationship, says Toronto sex coach. That's a different article, but it is related to this one.
I mean, that's true. It just
Yeah.
feels like to put like toys aren't a third person, but they're essentially accomplishing the same thing. Like if you're
Yes.
assuming that it's a male female kind of thing, and the male sex robot is there, like at what point, like how much of the body has to be there for it to be a third versus just like a marital enhancement, if you will. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be as classy as I possibly can while saying these words, but like, does it have to be like the torso or the legs or the head, or like at what point does it go from being a toy to a third? That's all. Like, I'm just asking you guys to define for me.
Yeah, what's a being,
Right.
basically, versus an object? I mean, the Supreme Court has decided that if two people include a company in their intercourse, that's a threesome, since companies are people.
Yeah. I mean, Topping is asking, is it male robot plus male human plus female human, or stereotypical female robot, male human, female? Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm kind of guessing it's whatever like you order,
yeah.
like whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the picture had a female one, but it was.
Wait, what picture did you look at?
No, like when you click the article, there was a picture of like guy dating a female.
That's not the picture I'm looking at.
I thought it was a female.
I can't. This looks, I guess, like relatively masculine to me.
Right.
This woman.
I took this as
I thought that was a female.
Male
Okay.
to male robot. Yes.
So Deborah's asking the question: is it a programmable robot like the General Dynamics ones, which are super awesome, that can play different sex games, more active than an object? That's an excellent point. Like if it is one of those like programmable ones, and you could be like, "Hey, do this thing," that feels like it makes it more like a person versus just like a pillow shaped like a person. So yeah,
like just a
true.
mannequin, basically.
But I mean, if you program all of its moves, aren't you kind of having sex with like yourself?
but
That's a good point.
I mean, I assume that maybe like if you throw randomization in it, if you're like, hey, you're gonna do these things, but like, you know, like every third thing do a random thing. I don't know. We're getting very philosophical.
Yeah.
Getting into the dynamics of programming a sex
Right.
robot.
Throwing in noise into a sex robot's behavior sounds pretty scary to me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Agreed.
like
yeah. They were saying, I don't mean the ones that play sex games, but they're robots who can dance and do other activities. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, an activity is an activity is an activity. If it pleases you sexually, like, that's not on the robot. That's just like, that's, you know, I don't know. So we're all agreeing that it's
TV show.
we're all agreeing that as far as we're concerned right now, the technology, as we know it, isn't there. Although the Boston Dynamic or whatever the General Dynamic like ones are probably the closest, the ones that can like do funky dances, or maybe that goat we had a little while back. But otherwise,
Oh, that goat's ready. That goat's ready to get
busy.
it's gonna get freaky. Yeah.
Shall we move on, or are there any other wonderful details that you want to tell us about from the article?
Anything? People are much more interested in sex robots than human sex workers. 38% versus 21%.
Which makes sense to me, because like one maybe sends you to jail and gets you many diseases, and one is just like weird.
Yes.
One
So-
just electrocutes you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you plug them in? I mean, I guess you could get electrocuted from a battery, but like,
I don't know what they're doing.
true.
Yeah, how are they powered?
Right.
Have gas prices affected how expensive it is to get a sex robot?
Oh,
Probably.
That's a really good point.
That'd be really weird, just like smelling gas the whole time. I don't know, like if you have to turn it on like a lawnmower where you have to like pull. Like,
Pull the cord. Or you
Yes.
just take your sex robot to like the local Shell and are filling it up next to everyone.
right. And then you have to decide like, what's the hole that's for that, or is it a separate hole, or like I assume it would have to be a separate hole,
Interesting
right?
question. It's got to be. I think in my mind, it drinks the gasoline.
Right, but think about
Probably not
that.
all it drinks.
So it drinks the gasoline, but then if you try and like put something in there, then there was like gasoline residue there, and I'm guessing you don't want gasoline residue like inside you.
That's true.
So
that's a good point.
Like it's very precarious where that's going to go, because generally if there's a hole, people will stick something in it, and you don't want gasoline being in a. I'm getting the look from Heather like, hey, wait, let's just move on.
Oh no, I was actually nodding, because the second you started saying, I mean, if there's a hole, I was like completing the sentence in my mind of like, people will stick things in it.
Right, they do. That's why there are holes.
Nature.
Yeah.
Right. The origin of holes.
The origin of holes, the discarded draft from Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
All right, so let's move on to our third story. If you're thinking, hey, I would like to go to a concert, but I would only want to go to a concert from somebody who has tried to assassinate the president, don't worry, because we have the perfect concert for you. Because John Hinckley Jr. has hit the music scene. If you don't remember who that is, he tried to kill the president. He tried to kill Ronald Reagan back in 1981 when he was 25 years old with the very noble thought of trying to impress Jodie Foster. I don't think it worked. As far as I know, it has not worked. I went to his website. I have not seen any comments from Jodie Foster. So I think he failed in that. He did paralyze somebody and injure 2 other people. So it was pretty not fun assassination attempt. But he got declared innocent by reason of insanity. So they sent him to an institution. In 2016, he got out of the institution. In 2020, they said he did not need to be looked after anymore, so he could just go do whatever he wanted to do. In 2020, he was legally allowed to like use his name to promote things, because there's always that thing of like, if you committed a crime, then your name has value, and you can't get name value from committing a crime. In 2020, they decided that he could. So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start playing music. I'm going to go on tour. And guess what, guys? He's coming to New York City. He's coming to Bushwick. And if you want to go see him, too bad, because it's already sold out. He is at a place called the Market Hotel in Bushwick, which hosts the likes of a bunch of people who I've never heard of in my entire life, and John Hinckley Jr. Yeah, he's doing a show. His YouTube page has 26,000 subscribers. We have 109, which reminds me, like and subscribe, because we want to beat John Hinckley Jr.
We would like to beat John Hinckley Jr.
Yes. Michelle's asking, will Jodie Foster be there? I don't know. My gut is probably not. But if she is, I feel like we'll hear about it. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm giving this guy a hard time. Maybe he is a rocking musician that people would want to go see for reasons other than murder. So I looked it up, and I found one of his videos. Would you guys like to hear it? I will give you 2 choices. There is, I think it's called like Blame It on the Whiskey or something like that, or Talking Like Whiskey. And then there is Can't We All Get Along?
Oh, that's...
Can't We All Get Along?
Can't We All Get Along? Okay, I'm pretty sure that's the first one, so we're going to try it.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. I'd just like to say that I now have 18 songs of mine on all the music streaming sites.
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, Apple Music.
All right, get to the song.
Amazon Music, Pandora.
Get to the song.
iTunes,
I should have cut this.
So check out my 18 songs on the music streaming sites.
Can't you guys already feel like you really want to see this in concert?
Can you imagine?
This is really good.
Well, I don't know what is wrong with this world. I wanna see some love. Everybody's fighting here and there. I wanna see some love. Can't we get along all day long? Think it's time we do.
You guys just let me know how much of this you want to listen to, and I will. I feel like that's probably enough. I feel like
So this is on all streaming sites?
Yes, it is.
All streaming sites, Marcus. He wanted you to know, all streaming sites.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna stop it there. So So yeah, like, and when you think about the fact that like he sold out a show. Like, I was thinking about Heather, your shows, because Heather, for those that don't know, Heather does musical improv. If you ever performed a song of that poor quality, like, your coach would be like, "Hey, Heather, what the fuck? What was that? What are you doing?"
Hey, let's work on some lyrical structure.
Right. Let's try a little bit. Like,
Let's try to give that song some, where do we want it to go?
yeah. And yet somehow that song is everywhere. I mean, I guess we might be wrong because Chris Bucknight is saying that's a banger. So
What a bang.
banger. Yeah. Oh, ha. Okay, I got you.
Great. So Chris, I'm glad that Chris is in the chat so I can just talk to another person that I know is aware of Assassins and knows Assassins the musical, because do you not just hear this and you're just like, but where's that great Sondheim song? Also, like, I still would not pay to go see this, but I would definitely watch him sing the song from Assassins.
I don't know the song. Is there a song about him? Is there a song?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know Assassins, Dustin?
I don't. I've never seen it.
It's a musical. It's a Sondheim musical about different presidential assassins, and they all have like musical numbers. And Hinckley has a song that he sings to Jody, called "Unworthy of Your Love," and it's funny to me that he's singing about like, "I want a piece of love." I'm like, you've heard the song. You've heard it.
Do you guys want a couple of seconds of the other one, or or have we heard enough?
Let's give it a try. I'm also curious about what his intro is to this.
Okay, I think this one's like off the
streaming services.
This one doesn't have him. This one's just off the CD.
Oh, okay.
This one's country, though.
What?
So,
No, the boot.
yeah. Come on.
All the times that we had, well, you were kind of shy, here and there, everywhere. I really don't know why you would not say to me the words I long to hear, till you finally found a way
I want
to say
Find out Michelle's comments. This feels like MIDI without being a MIDI. Yeah, 100%.
whiskey do you talking.
Oh,
So
still angry.
So that's it. That's what's happening in
Wow.
in John Hinckley Jr.'s world. So I'm sure he'll come back around New York again if you want to see that, or like, guys, we got to get over 26,000. If a presidential assassin who sings like that has 26,000 subs, we are.
This is what happens when Stephen Sondheim passes away. This is what happens. An actual assassin does a concert.
Yeah, and sells it out. Because the thing is, like, I went, okay.
Sells it out.
I went, okay, like, maybe it's a small venue, maybe whatever. I went there to see if there were other people that I'd heard of. There weren't. But none of them were sold out. This was the only show that I could find that was sold out at Market Hotel.
I mean, it has to be, like, I assume the people going to it are, like, I don't know the right term, but, like, you not train wreck going, but, like, you're going because you're like, what the fuck am I about to see? I've got it.
I mean, it's in Bushwick. I feel like there's a lot of people who do things ironically in that area.
True.
Yeah, who are going to be like, yeah, let's go see an assassin. Yeah.
All right. So that's that story. Do you guys want to move on to our next segment, What the Fact, where I ask you guys silly questions, and then you tell me which one is the right answer. All right. Hopefully this works, because I did not get a chance to test it before we started. What was the original reason for serving death row inmates a last meal? Because when they first started doing it, they did it with a very specific reason involved. Was it to get rid of food that no one else would eat? Was it so that their ghosts wouldn't haunt the executioner? Or C, because the warden's daughter suggested it and everybody felt bad that she had a very nice idea? Heather, I'll go to you first. But Chad, I also want to hear your opinions.
I'm gonna go with B, so the ghosts wouldn't haunt the executioner, because that just feels like some kind of superstitious-y thing that someone would be like, but you know what? I wouldn't want to die without a meal. A ghost will be angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things that are ghost based when you look back in history.
Yeah.
Marcus, what are you thinking?
Oh, I was between B and C. A is so mean that they'd be like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with this nasty food? Let's make this guy eat it before we kill him."
Yeah.
So since Heather did B, I'll do C just so we have some drama.
Okay, and Michelle's going A. She says she knows nothing, but you know, that's still a good answer. And Topping is saying, I want to say B, but I suspect it might be C, so I'm going to go with C, fingers crossed. Y'all should have stuck with it, because it is B, so their ghost wouldn't haunt the executioner after the fact. Because everybody's just afraid of ghosts, like, all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
And people are like, look, I'll kill this person, but I don't want their ghosts coming after me, so they get a good meal.
Yeah, their ghosts are gonna be like, fine, you cut my head off, but like, cool.
Yeah.
you also gave me a steak. So, the Global Harbor Mall in Shanghai offers what service? Is it free products if you can outrun a specific security guard? B, an expert who gives you a full TV style makeover, and I didn't have room for this, but like, and then you walk down a runway and everybody applauds. Or is it C, husband storage, where they put men in a glass pod with video games and leave them there while women shop? Marcus, I'll go with you. I'll go to you first.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I mean, you know the Global Harbor Mall in Shanghai, so like, I think it's just a matter of like remembering all the times that you've been there.
Yeah. Most of I'm thinking about all the cool stuff I got there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I forgot is that there were a lot of husbands in glass pods playing video games while I was walking around.
All right, so you're gonna go with C.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle's going with B. I wanted to be A, but I think I'm gonna guess B. Heather, what are you thinking?
I am also going to go with C, because I have heard of other places. I've not heard of this, but I've certainly heard of other places that have advertised like husband seating or like husband room, and like I've heard of this kind of idea before.
Okay.
So I'm going to guess that just the Global Harbor Mall sounds fancy, sounds like it's a luxury experience. So I'm going to guess that this is Shanghai's luxury version of being like, drop your husband off in this glass pod. But I will say I love all these choices, and I also wish that it was A, because I actually think that is so funny. And like, if it turns out to be A, that kind of makes me want to go there.
I wanted it to be A too, but it is C.
It is C. Yeah.
Sorry, Marcus, I cut you off.
Oh no, you're good. I was just thinking A is kind of true about almost any place you shop.
Right. Yeah. Right. I was trying to figure out the way to word it when I was coming up with the fake answer, and I was like, because if you outrun security, like
you can outrun, and I like that it said that your wording of it was if you can outrun a specific security guard. Right. So imagining people who like know who are the slower ones are, and they're like, well, Steve's there today, so we can get away with it. Yeah. I
wanted to give the impression that there was like an Usain Bolt security guard that like they were like, no, if you can beat him, like free TV. But there's not. All right. So question number 3. In 1924, the U.S. government did what to help pilots? Did they make giant cement arrows on the ground to show them where to go? Did they put lights on the runway for the first time? Or did they give each unique airport a code so that people stopped going to the wrong airports because a lot of them had similar names? Heather, I'm going to go to you first.
I feel like C is too tech for 1924.
Okay.
So, and I can't even imagine what kind of lights we're putting on the runway in 24. So I'm going to go with A, because that just feels like a very old-timey solution to something where it's like, well, these pilots can't really see. Let's put a giant arrow.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
All right. Topping in chat is going to go with C. She thinks it's the unique airport codes. Marcus, do you agree with Topping, or do you agree with Heather, or do you agree with nobody?
I I think I agree with topping. Like, it just feels like, I forget how old zip codes are, but I feel like they're like surprisingly new, and that like people's minds were probably like working this way where they're like, how do we code stuff to better organize it? So I'm going to say C.
Okay. Another answer for C. Michelle guessing C as well. But it turns out Heather was right all along. They made giant cement arrows along popular paths that were like these like big old fucking like the lowest tech thing you could possibly do. Like I want to go. I'm assuming they're still there. Like they are probably still there. So I want to go on Google Maps and find where the arrows are. If anybody in chat wants to go do that and send it to us, I will try and put it up if I can figure out how. And but yeah, so that was a weird thing that we did as a society, is we put giant and huge cement arrows on the floor so the pilots could get around. You're right, I don't think the lights were there yet, so I think they just didn't fly at night.
Because I think lights existed, but I'm imagining like they weren't really, like you couldn't just like have lights at that, like I think they would have
Hard to do.
Right, all the tech involved, like weren't they still like gas based or whatever? I don't know. I'm talking out my lighting ass, but I just don't think that there would have been lighting in 24.
Those arrows are like the type of thing you hope like archaeologists find in 500 years and are just like, what the actual fuck? Yeah.
Who are they trying to, like, were there giants? What happened?
What was this? Yeah.
All right, let's move on then to our final segment of the day, which is Would You Rather, which I think, Heather, we're coming to you first on this one again.
Yes. Okay, so we have, would you rather be able to slow time by half or accelerate it 1.5 times? You decide how your brain processes it.
Meaning that, like, I guess when I was trying to figure this one out, like, meaning that, like, you know, like you can have your brain, if you go 1.5 times, you can have your brain like go 1.5 times along with it, so that you feel as though, like, if you're like, I don't want to sit in math class, so I want math class to be over, so let's make it happen really fast. Or like, I'm done with work and I want the next 2 hours to be 4 hours because I've been working all day and I want to be able to feel the full 4 hours, kind of thing. So at least that's where I was going with it. We should have talked about it beforehand, but anyway, it's your question, so I will leave you be to.
I have one, like, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yeah.
Can you toggle this on and off, or is it like once you choose it?
You can toggle it on and off, but you can only pick one.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. And as always, I will throw it to the guest first. So Marcus, I throw it to you.
Ooh, I think I'm gonna go with the half speed. Like, I think there are certainly times where I'm bored and I'm like, I wish this could go faster, but the ability to sort of make more time for yourself whenever you wanted to sounds great.
Even though you could make your workday 4 hours if you wanted to, or whatever it is. Like, you make your workday a lot shorter.
I think, like, well, it depends on the job, I guess. Like, if you're like, doing like some sort of like front of store retail thing, that'd be great. If you have a job where like, it's like, it doesn't matter how quick this day goes, I have certain things I need to get done either way. And then you just speed it up, you still have the same amount of stuff to get done.
Sure. Okay, so you're gonna go with slow time.
Yeah.
Michelle from chat is agreeing with you, saying slow time by half.
Also saying slow time.
Yeah.
Dustin, what do you think?
I'm very torn about this one, because there have been so many times where I was bored out of my skull. Like, I guess it depends on where you are in life. Like, if you asked me this when I was like 13, I would be like, speed up time for sure, because I hate everything about learning and I wish I could just do it faster. Not that I hated learning, but at the time it was just like you were learning nothing that was of any relevance. I love learning things now at my own speed. But yeah, I think slow time by half is... I think Michelle's point is a solid one there, that like you basically get more life versus you lose more life. So I think you probably got to lean on the slow time by half. Although the 13-year-old version of me sitting in like Italian language class would be very mad at me for that answer. So, but I guess that's where I have to go. And I guess, so having heard no other comments from chat, I'm going to give that one to chat. So, Heather, what's your take?
I think I can see merits to both these things, especially since it's not like once you choose it, you're stuck with it. But I think that I will also go with slow time, because I think it would be nice to have the ability for certain things to be like, I'd like to sleep longer, or I'm having a really fun day. I want this day to go longer. I don't want time to go so fast. And I agree, like, assuming good health and non-misery, like, yeah, extending life. Why would I want to, like, 1.5 things? And I could totally see the argument of, like, oh, this workday is shitty, let me speed it up. But I could also just let that go normal time, and then, like, the good stuff could be slow, like more sleep.
I mean, maybe this is not true, but I imagine if, like, you were doing, like, extending the times you'd like, when you did go back to, like, normal time, it would feel faster.
True. Yeah. Good point. All right, so then we have a winner in that question. So we send it over to you, Marcus.
Cool. Mine is, would you rather go to the bathroom all at once for the year, or things stay as they are?
Who are you sending it to?
I'll send it to you first, Dustin.
I have a very strong opinion on this, and I would definitely want to go to the bathroom all at once at the beginning of the year, and then never have to worry about it again. It would be like a really unpleasant amount of time, but then you're like, good, you can do whatever you want. Because I run into like, I've trained my body to, like, I can go on a 6-hour flight or an 8-hour. I went to China and didn't pee, and that's a 13-hour flight. I made it through the whole damn thing without having to go to the bathroom once. But in order to do that, I go to the bathroom like 30 times before I get on the flight. Like, my body is just like, no, every like 30 seconds it's like you have to go. Plus, our apartment only has one bathroom, so if Joy or I both have to go to the bathroom at the same time, it's miserable. So I would rather just be able to schedule and go like, hey, for the first, like, I don't know how much time people spend going to the bathroom, but I'll just say 2 weeks. For the first 2 weeks of every year, I just knock it all out, and then I never have to worry about things ever again. Like, I mean, I hate to use my vacation time for that, but I think it's worth it. So I'm gonna go with all at once. What about you guys?
Heather, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah. So I don't have to disclose, like, fictional hypothetical living. Let's say I opt for go all at once. Do I have to disclose to the rest of the world that I've opted for this? Like, do I wear a sign that says, like,
I mean, to some degree, I mean, I guess it just depends, because, like, if you're going all at once, you're going like all at once. So you would have to tell all your friends, like, hey, for the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to be around because I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I still would opt with that, because I'm thinking of all the inconvenience it causes when you're just, like, out in public and suddenly you're like, damn it, I gotta find a bathroom. And it's annoying, and it's like that stress. Or you're right, Dustin. I mean, I can't even imagine not peeing for 13 hours. Like, I can't imagine doing that. And I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
But I know that feeling of, like, I better get it all out now, because I don't want to be, like, stuck somewhere where I don't know what the bathroom's going to be like, or if there's going to be a bathroom, or whatever, or, you know, I find I complain about this all the time. Is like, every year I get older, I'm like, man, I have to pee all the time. What is happening? It's so annoying. I wonder if it's different in, like,
more rural areas where, you know, you could just, like, pull off on the side of the road, like, if you absolutely had to. Like, I mean, I guess you wouldn't. It's easier for a guy, but, like,
I was gonna say you can, and I know there's things that, like, women can use to help them pee like men, but I've never tried those. I can't vouch for them. So yeah, I can't. Yes, if I really had to go, I would pull over. And you
don't bring a pee funnel with you whenever you're traveling?
I'm talking about that I've heard about, though. No, I've never used one.
Wow.
I don't know. I've heard about them, but
Question from. Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead, and then we'll.
So I was just gonna say, the only thing that I would say about this, the only reason I ask, like, would other people know, is because sometimes there's convenience of like, you use going to the bathroom as a way to just like get away from people for, like you're at work and you just don't want to talk to anyone for 10 minutes or something, and you're just like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like a sacred place that no one really can bug you, assuming it's not a public bathroom. But
right. Just I brought up the chat, but wouldn't it just build up all year? Wouldn't you be a giant stuffed bubble of a person by the end of the year? We're assuming magic here, I think.
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. I interpreted it as magic of like almost like a deficit where you just go ahead and it's all done, and then you just don't think about it, and all the stuff you eat and drink just is poof.
Right, but is it? I guess it would be different if we're going along with Deborah's suggestion.
I mean, if we're going with Deborah's suggestion, then I keep things the way they are, because I don't like being stuffed up with an hour's worth of pee. So I certainly would not want to be.
Right, you'd be like, you know, be ridiculous if you were. Yeah. So if it's magic, then pee all at once. If it's,
I'm assuming because of the confines of this question already feel magical. I assumed it was that kind of magic. Yeah.
And Michelle was saying she'd like to go all year long. She appreciates, apparently, the regular peeing.
Well, is she meaning she like wants it to stay the way it is, or does she want to be going all year long?
That's true. Michelle, let us know. Is it that you just love peeing and pooping so much that like you're upset when you're not doing it? I'm assuming based on that. No, I want to pee all year long. Okay, so yeah, so
it is what she meant.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
She's just
there. It is.
She just wishes she was constantly peeing. Yeah, you are contractually obligated for that now. Marcus, did you answer this one?
I did not. I mean, my question was also about sort of inflating up, and I guess my last one is, even if you aren't like growing that way, do you feel the like pressure? Like, is it like a year of like being like, I can't pee, or do you just never feel any urge?
I think you never feel any urge. I think you just like forget that it's a thing.
Yeah, then I would go all at once. I think we also like, you know, with the last one we're talking about sort of the value of time, and like you think about all the time that you save never having to find the bathroom.
Right, because you just locked in yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like the hope would be in this scenario that like you could determine the calendar on which you were doing it, and it's not just like on January 1st everybody who's made that choice is now has to go, because then that would like destroy every city. Like, but again, magic would solve it. But like, I think if everybody was pooping and peeing nonstop for like however much time that takes, I think that's the other thing. I started to think about like, what is the math? Like, how much time would that be? But it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how many times I go to the bathroom in a given day and how much time I spend in there. And especially if you factor out what Marcus was saying, like if you factor out the like, I just want to get away from people time. Because I think there's definitely like,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
There's the like, there's that like, well, I didn't need to be in the bathroom for like 10 minutes, but like I did.
No,
I did.
It's rare that you. I mean, I'm not saying it's not rare, because I know there are people with conditions and medical things, but like the average person, right? No, you don't. But everyone respects that. Like, if you're gone for like 8 minutes, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna give one vote to stay as normal, because Michelle seemed pretty adamant about wanting to go all year long. So
I mean, we're assuming that Michelle's normal is that she's always peeing. Right.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Right. I mean, I spend a decent amount of time with her, and as far as I can tell, she is. I think, you know. All right. So our final question: would you prefer the worst version of your favorite food? Like, you can only eat the worst version of your favorite food, or the best version of your least favorite food? Heather, I'm going to go to you first. I feel like I'm going to get picked on for this one no matter what, but
I really, this question made me laugh. I'm gonna go with worst favorite food, because I think I would still be okay with, like, because like my favorite food off the top of my head is like I love pizza, and I can tolerate a bad slice of pizza. It's fine. I can live with it. Whereas like my least favorite food, I don't want to taste that. Even I don't care how well. So like, for example, that would be like you giving me the world's top chef, best made pickle lettuce wrapped in a pickle, or pickle wrapped in lettuce, either. But you're like, but you know, the top chef of the world made it. I don't care. I don't like those flavors. I don't want to eat them.
Yeah, that'd be my broccoli. Like,
yeah, it's just like, I don't care how artisan it is or how great or whoever chef kissed it, whatever. Like, no, I don't want it.
Okay, all right. So then,
whereas I'll eat a cardboard slice of pizza. Sure.
That is a clear vote for that. Marcus, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Heather that worst version of favorite food. It's just a bad, you know, whatever it may, like, don't have like, I guess I have to like rank my favorite foods, but like a bad pizza, a bad burrito, like I could live with a lot more than like a food that like just makes me want to gag if I smell it. Like, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I hate avocados. And like the idea of having some sort of gourmet guacamole just like makes me want to puke. So that would just be essentially inedible to me, versus like, you know, some sort of bad burrito I'd be okay.
Okay, all right. I'm very torn about this. And before we continue, just Michelle, both for the chaos again, not physically possible, but also fair.
Okay.
I thought I had the answer on this one. I really did. I thought like I was with you guys, that I was gonna be on board. Then I was like, well, what would my favorite food be? And I was like, well, probably like burgers is probably the thing that I eat the most, the thing that I enjoy the most. And like, I've had some burgers which was just like repulsive. They're like, I don't get burgers at most places because they can be bad. And when they're bad, they're just like bad meat is just like kind of the worst. So I was like, I feel like there's a world where somebody can make broccoli that I enjoy versus like having to eat. Like I've said this before on the show, like I was a vegetarian for half of college because the meat at my school was labeled grade D meat fit for human consumption. Like it said it on the truck. So
meat.
Yeah, so like I didn't eat meat that whole time, because the times that I did, I was immediately repulsed by it. So as much as I want to say the worst version of my favorite food, I know like if you're picking pizza, I think there's a little bit more like leeway there. But if I'm honest and I'm going with burgers, there's less leeway there. It can go real foul. So I'm gonna go with best of my least favorite food, although I really hope I never have to do this because broccoli is evil.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
You ever tried pretending you're a dinosaur eating little trees?
I have not. That is what I will do if I'm ever cursed by this would you rather. That brings us to the end of our would you rathers, which kind of brings us to the end of our show.
This was a good would you rather to close us out on. I thank you for this. This was a fun one.
Marcus, where can people see what kind of crazy stuff that you're up to? What's your situation?
Well, I guess regularly perform at a place called the Armory Comedy in Midtown New York. We're doing improv, sketch, so definitely come and check those things out. I think Dustin's sketch team has a show on Wednesday.
I do. That's not the thing I meant to bring up. This is what I meant to bring up. Sketching Public Service on 420 at 7 ET at the Tank. Please come check it out. It'll be a good time. Thank you for promoting it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. And then I don't post too much, but if you want to find me on socials, I'm ME_Haugen just about everywhere.
Cool. Yeah, I have an Instagram, but go everywhere. Heather, what do you got going on?
Like Marcus, I do stuff with the Armory. I am part of the core for Shot, and just got re-upped for that core. Surprise announcement. And I'm going to be in this Saturday's Shot waitress at Shillelagh in Astoria, and then I have other ones coming up in the next couple weeks. I agree. Michelle says in the chat, Marcus's Goodreads presence is brilliant. Yes. Throwing that to Marcus because it's really freaking funny.
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
What is
really
Goodreads?
good.
I don't know what Goodreads is. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Oh, you gotta find out later. You'll love this, Dustin. It's really funny.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the next thing coming up. You can find me and my musical improv team. We don't have a performance yet, but we are having our first in-person rehearsal since COVID on Sunday. And I know that no one can come watch that, but I'm excited because that means a show is on the horizon.
Is that for Red Shirts?
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. So follow Red Shirts Musical Improv because we're going to have shows soon.
Cool. And Deborah in the chat saying that was so fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this whole thing. As Marcus mentioned, we have public service. On 420, we are not going to do a bunch of pot sketches. So if that's what you're looking for, that's not what we're going to do. I mean, it might be a joke in there, but for the most part, it'll be whatever you want to call it. There's some folks doing improv beforehand. So a random collection of folks that I may be involved in with as well. So if you want to see me do improv, because you probably haven't in this calendar year, because I haven't done it in quite a while, other than like one show at the Pit a couple of weeks ago, as well as you can find our Instagram, super important stuff at Instagram. We post about who our guests are going to be and fun trivia things and behind the scenes pictures. And it's a good time. Please follow us and like and subscribe to this because we need to get, what is it, 25,500 or 900 more followers?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks so much. Thank you, Marcus, for joining us and being hilarious. And next time in a full body spandex suit. And we will see you guys again soon. And ignore the graphic at the end where it says what upcoming shows are, because I'm realizing now I forgot to update that. So we'll be back next Monday, and ignore the graphic. All right, talk to you later. Bye.